Hey guys, welcome back. Let's hope the microphone is working this time because I just recorded this whole video and the microphone is off. So yes, awesome. Today we're talking about droid shorts, protocol droid shorts. We're gonna just pertain to C-3PO, but these shorts also are used on like RA7, CZ3 in later films. Some differences here, but most of protocol droids, Forlom, and any of their variants. So since I've been wearing these costumes, I've gone through multiple versions of these shorts, and there's a couple that I've leaned on the most, but I wanted to talk about some of the other versions I've done. Just trying to chase down the balance between durability, accuracy, and wearability. What's most comfortable and easiest to wear, because there's kind of a blend, and I feel like none of them have quite had it right, and I feel like the new pair that I've got kind of hits the mark between all of those, and I'll go into that in a moment. In the films, there are essentially three types of shorts between all the films that we'll say for 3PO here, which is in half. Sorry, 3PO is the top half of them is in the Carrie Fisher chair over here because we need access to these things. So in A New Hope, they had vacuum shorts. They worked okay, but there's many times in the films where the parts of the shorts are coming out of the legs. There's some infamous photos where it looks like, 3PO's having male issues going on, and they would crack and break, and not the best things. So when they did Empire Strikes Back, they refined a bunch of pieces of the suit, and the shorts were one of them. They made a one-piece kind of pullover shorts, just like actual shorts. I've been told that they're made out of urethane, but then some people say they're made out of vinyl. I have held a pair in my hands, and I couldn't tell you what the material is. I looked at it, I'm like, I don't know, could be vinyl, could be a urethane, not positive. But they're one piece, there's no seam lines, so you just pull them on, and they're on there. And those were my favorite of all the shorts. I feel like they look right. They don't do too much weird stuff. They move well, but they suffer from the paint not holding up well on them. So if you see in the films, anytime C-3PO is really shiny, like at the end of Empire Strikes Back or the end of Return of the Jedi, the shorts are just a little less shiny than the rest of the suits because it just doesn't hold the paint the same way. But the design is really good. They also use those shorts in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. And then when you get to the sequels, they kind of did a hybrid thing, which is a cleaned up, newer type of shorts. I believe the first ones were 3D printed for The Force Awakens, and then they made urethane copies. And they're pretty stiff, but they do have a little flexibility. They're not as flexible as the original trilogy shorts, but they're close, and they're very symmetrical. They're real perfected. They look nice, but not quite my thing. I like the sculpted weirdness of the original trilogy shorts. So anyway, in my quest, trying to find these, I've gone through a bunch of shorts. You see these here. The ones that I wear the most are these and these here. Now, these are vacuum form shorts made by Cal Pierce at Mon Cal Props. They've lasted me a very long time. They're made out of ABS, and they're stiff enough that they hold the paint well, but they have a little bit of give to them, and they're two pieces. So when you walk or you move, the pieces can kind of move independently of each other a little bit, depending on what you're doing, and it makes it easier to walk in. And the shape of the shorts, you can see the legs on the shorts are vertical, and they drop right into the thighs of the costume very, very easily, which I really like. That's very nice. However, unlike the original vacuum form shorts, these were copied from a Don Post statue, I believe. If I'm incorrect, let me know. And a strange thing about these is that the butt of the shorts is actually about an inch shorter than the regular screen use shorts. I don't know why. I don't know if it's something that happened when they were resculpted to make the statues or what the deal was, but they're a little shorter. It always bothered me because they're shorter, they sit sort of low in the legs, and then the back here between the torso and the shorts has this a really big gap, and it just doesn't look right to me. But I wear these a lot, even to this day, because they're pretty comfortable. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but these shorts I got in 2011, and I still wear them from time to time. They're very beat up. You can see they're worn, and there's cracks and so forth. I still use them from time to time. And then I also use these shorts, which are ones that I sculpted with very, very good reference to real suit parts. And I had an initial shape that I pulled from some vacuum form pieces that were related to original suit, but they were very low detail. Detail is pretty much lost, but it had the landmarks in the right places. So using that, and then a lot of photos that I got from the original 4-LOM shorts that are at Rancho Obi-Wan. I had access to them. I took tons of measurements, lots and lots of photos, measured every bit. I made sure that these matched. I'm really proud of how these are, relatively speaking. But I made these out of fiberglass so that they'll hold the finish. These are painted probably 6 years ago, and they're pretty beat up, but you can see the gold is still nice and shiny. However, the shape of these shorts is made like this. This is a pair of rubber ones. They're made to be made out of a flexible material. So the actual legs are sort of flared out in a direction like this, which is fine when they're flexible because you can still get them in the legs and they move and so forth. Make them out of a hard material, not the case, which means that they don't fit very correctly into the legs as is without trimming them within an inch of their life. Now, I would trim them anyway, but probably not quite this much. But I have to trim it this high just so that they fit properly. And this makes it a little harder to walk in these because they're just stiff. They're just a little off for walking. These are great for photo ops. If I'm going to be standing a lot and just in one area, I will wear these because I think these look a lot better. And you can see the back is higher, the butt is longer. A lot of things are correct here. But again, this shape is meant to be made out of rubber. You can see on the CZ3, these are my two set that I have currently that are rubber. They're great, but the paint won't hold up. So durability-wise, not the best. So I've been trying to make a middle ground option for myself that I'm happy with. And you can see here that at one point, before I did this sculpt, I took a fiberglass copy out of the vacuum form shorts and attached them on the side so I wouldn't have any seam lines, so they're one piece. And I cut all the way across and extended them so that the butt would be more correct, more accurate to the movie suits. But in the process of doing that, I ended up extending the crotch area, and I just never really liked these, so these never got worn. It's just a test. But a few years ago, I got scans of actual C-3PO shorts on a mannequin. So basically, these shorts match these shorts in every dimension, accuracy, but as you can see, the legs are perfectly vertical, which means that if I drop these into the thighs, they fit really nice like they're supposed to, which is fantastic. And they're made out of PETG. They're 3D printed, so they're stiff enough that they should hold the paint much like these do, which will be nice, but they've got a little bit of flex. I'm sorry about bumping the microphone there. You can see I've got a little bit of flex here, and they move a bit like the vacuum form ones do. That means that they're going to be much more wearable. These fit me great as is. I will probably still trim the fronts like I do with most of my shorts, but currently, as they are, they fit, and I really like that. Now, one of the reasons I like these over some of the other shorts offerings is that the ones that are currently out, they're good. They're good models, but they're symmetrical. They're very kind of perfect. They sort of remind me of the sequel shorts, which are fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I always like the little sculptural look and the weirdness of the original shorts, like the asymmetry in the lines here, like one side's a little more curved and so forth, and the back is slightly asymmetrical. It just feels right to me. It's like when, I think it was EFX, they tried to do, years ago, the Stormtrooper costumes, and it was a mirrored copy of the head. It just didn't look right, even though it was perfectly symmetrical on side to side. It just didn't feel right. And that's kind of how I feel about the 3PO parts. When they're too symmetrical, there's something just doesn't feel right to me. And I want them to look, accurate to the original films that I grew up with as a kid. But I will be putting these on my Patreon page. So if you follow my Patreon, this will be offered on there. I will also be doing a 2-piece version of these shorts where they are cut like these. So for the people who are fans of the vacuum form shorts that come apart, which are easier for packing. If you're putting this in a kit and you need to travel with them, you can take them apart and fold them in on themselves, and it gives you quite a bit more room than something like this. So there will be a 2-piece version soon where I'll be cutting these, and then they'll be able to be put together. I'm also working on foam patterns based on these shorts, which will be really flexible, You just foam fabricate them. They'll be more flexible than these, really, really comfortable. And those should be up soon. I've got the patterns about halfway done right now, and I'm going to make a set for myself to be sure that they work correctly and they kind of line up. I'll have a demo of these here soon. And again, you see the flex. These are PETG. They're printed with a 0.8 millimeter nozzle with a 0.3 millimeter layer height. You can make it finer if you want. The thickness of the legs is 1.6 mil, so you get the flex. Now, people are like, oh, it's flexible. Why don't you use TPU? Well, before I finished the model here, I did a set in TPU as a test. Now, I had an issue with my printer, so you can see that it didn't quite come out right. But these are the same thickness, but they're too flexible. They're a little overly bendy, so I don't think this is going to hold up well with the paint, even though I have some flexibility additives that I can do. I did videos on this with the gold where you can bend it and so forth. Even with this, there's just too much rubbing and bending that this will look fine in camera, but when you see it up close, they get crackly and gross, and I prefer something that's a little firmer. So I would recommend these. I will probably do a version that is optimized for TPU if you want to print them, but that's going to be a little ways down the road. But currently, I think the TPU is just too soft. PETG, I think, is the way to go. I'll test these out. I will be painting these with Ultra Lumen as soon as I get a chance. Hopefully in the next few weeks, I'll get these prepped and painted. Hopefully these are useful to some people. Again, they should look very accurate to original trilogy. And I'll be on to some other parts soon. I'm working on legs and a torso, and eventually I'll have a 3PO head that will be my version, but it's going to be kind of related to New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. I'll kind of merge between the two. I'm going to get the sweetest version I can. And that'll all be on the Patreon soon enough. If you're interested, let me know. Any comments about these or questions, comment below. And I hope to see you guys soon. Later.